Hey guys, I'm Dan, and I just went 30 days without using social media. In today's video, I want to tell you why I made this choice and what impact it's had on my life. Now, first off, I should point out that this video title and this video idea is a complete ripoff of Matt D'Avella, who is an awesome YouTuber who did a similar video about 2 years ago.
After a week, I stopped flinching from my phone, and it no longer felt weird to leave home without it. With the additional hour every day, I was able to be a little bit more productive.
And Matt D'Avella's video was part of the reason. I gotta be honest, like, when I saw that video, it kind of planted the seed in my mind, like, oh, you can quit social media. That's a thing that normal people can do. And when you're so wrapped up in the daily habit of checking it, it's like cutting off your arm. It's like, what? Like,
"'Tis but a scratch."
Like, why would I want to remove this thing that brings me... I was about to say brings me joy. It doesn't actually bring you joy. That's one of the tricks it plays on you. But it seems to be like a part of you. Like a backpack that you can't take off. Yeah, it's more like a weight that you can't take off. But then one day you realize you can take it off. And it feels weird for a few days. Like, where did this backpack go? But then it starts to feel kind of nice. Like, you feel liberated. And to be clear, for me, the big one was Facebook. That was by far the biggest time waster that I ever had. At first, I was just gonna quit Facebook. But after a couple days, I realized I was just on Instagram more. I had just substituted, like, it's like you're an alcoholic and you just cut out whiskey and now you're drinking beer. It's the same vice, it's just a different format. So I had to cut out Instagram as well. And that one wasn't as hard because I don't spend as much time on Instagram. But what was hard was the sense that I now felt like I had nowhere to keep in contact with my friends. I felt like I was removing myself from the party. I felt the need almost to make a big announcement like, "Excuse me guys, I'm leaving." Don't you forget about me. But then again, I didn't want to like fail and be back a couple days later and be like, "Hey guys, just kidding. I have no self-control, here I am again." Like the guy who is at the bar and one day he says, "You're all alcoholics, I'm out of here." Then tomorrow at happy hour, he's like, "Give me another beer."
Bonnie, how do you keep getting back in?
I'm a drunk. I don't know nothing about how I do anything. Whoa!
Yeah, I didn't want to be that guy. So I just ghosted out. I quit. And I had that on my consciousness for a few days. The first few days, I was like, oh, what if someone's looking for me? What if someone's trying to tag me and they don't know I'm gone? And these problems, I mean, I suppose there are situations where it could be true, but they're much bigger in your head than anyone else's. And in many ways, social media has taught us all to care about ourselves and our own pictures and our own like profiles and how we appear to the world. But no one else is that concerned about you. They're all concerned about making themselves look perfect for everyone else. But actually, if you disappear, no one really notices, except maybe your best friends. And you probably have other ways to contact your best friends anyway. But all that to say that the first few days are the hardest. The first few days were when I had a sense that I was missing out. It's when I had a kind of that phantom urge to check my phone and look for the apps that I deleted. And I don't know, like little things would trigger me wanting to go back. For example, on Facebook, there are certain Facebook groups that I'm in. Like one about being a videographer where I think, oh, I can learn things about using my camera. My camera helps me run my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel makes me money. So like there's a flow, there's a necessity. Even though this is something bad, it leads to something good, you know? But that's just a trick your mind plays. Because I can go read blogs, I can watch YouTube videos, which I don't consider social media for the simple fact that when I'm on YouTube, I'm searching for information. I'm searching for something that I want to see. Whereas on Facebook or Instagram, it's typically the opposite. You are typically being hit by a news feed, which is bringing you updates which were decided by an algorithm that you have no control over. But let me tell you what happened after those first few days were over. I had a noticeable drop in my levels of anxiety. For as much time as I spend on Facebook, I don't particularly enjoy that time. It's feeding this part of your soul that kind of thrives on drama, an almost voyeuristic tendency to care like what's going on in everyone else's life. But I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think it's making society a better place. I think it's making society a worse place. And I'm not saying it's not important to keep up with your friends' updates. But when it's like some random kid from high school who you never really knew, and they just got married to someone you never met, and you're looking through their wedding photos, like, and maybe it's just me. Maybe I have no self-control. Maybe it's my personality that just sees this thing, and I'm like, oh, what's this? What's this? What's this? It's up to each of us to know whether we are using the platform or the platform is using us. And I was being used by Facebook. I was just wasting hours in my day, and I was tired of it. And I'm going to tell you a secret right now that Facebook doesn't really advertise, and it's that you can quit Facebook and keep using Messenger. So my contacts are still there. I can still message everyone I had as a Facebook friend, and they can message me. And I decided to keep it because, it's basically a free phone service. There are utilities to Facebook Messenger. But the app itself is garbage, and I don't miss it at all. The next thing that happened when I quit Facebook is that I had more time for projects of my own. I could have just substituted all the time I spent on Facebook for more time on YouTube or more time watching Netflix. But I didn't. I actually started to work on projects and things that are more fulfilling. I started reading more books. And the quality of the reading has gone up too. I mean, that's another thing I could talk about is the attention span issue. It's almost an internet meme at this point to say I quit social media for 3 days and now my apartment is clean and I got a better job and my cat turned into a tiger. It's like, okay, all those things aren't going to happen overnight. Quitting social media isn't going to solve your problems for you, but it will give you the time and the ability to use that time how you choose. And for me, I wanted to use that time to read more books and also to do something that I've been thinking about doing for years but never found, again, the time, and that's to learn programming. This might sound weird, but I've been learning a language called Python for the last few weeks. It's hard. It's like learning how to program is like learning how to climb Mount Everest. There's a lot you need to learn if you're not from a computer science background. It's just a challenge I've really been enjoying. It's something that has taught me a new way of thinking. And frankly, computers aren't going anywhere. I may as well learn more about them because we're all going to be interacting with computers for our whole lives. It's just the question is, do you want to understand how they work? Or do you just want to read the latest tweets from Kim Kardashian and Kanye West? Okay, let me tell you this. I've actually cheated a few times. Not with Facebook, that's deactivated. But with Instagram, despite the fact that I deleted the app, occasionally through the past month or so, I've been going to Instagram, typing in my name, scrolling a bit. Well, not even the news feed, but mostly the Instagram stories, just to see what my friends are up to. And you know what they're up to? The friend who I remembered always doing stories walking his dog is still walking his dog. The friend who was talking about taking a trip to Spain is now on that trip to Spain. Everyone is kind of doing what you'd expect them to be doing. Same inspirational quotes, same outrage about the topics you would expect people to be outraged about. It just gets to be so repetitive after a while, and it's like, in real conversations with friends, you can go deep. On social media, you're just always at that surface level of scrolling past these little updates. And yeah, I just don't think there's any value to it. Ironically, I wrote down a list of topics to talk about on my phone. So let me check this really quick. Despite everything I'm saying, I didn't stop using my phone entirely. I still see it as a useful communication tool. We just needed to set limits for ourselves. And for me, that limit was no Facebook. Instagram, I might go back to eventually, but for now, I'm quite happy to be off it. And I think 30 days is a good period to actually, it's an attainable goal. Anyone can do 30 days. Trust me. No matter how many hours you spend on this stuff, just go 3 days. If you can do 3 days, you can do 30 days. Because the first 3 are the hardest. And on that note, I want to talk about the last subject for today, which is that it really is an addiction. I've mentioned before that I quit smoking last year, and I see the same tendencies. I see the same cycle. I used to, every time I see someone else smoking, I'd be craving one. First few days, like you see someone else on social media, you're like, oh yeah, I wonder what's going on my Instagram. I wonder what's going on with that friend I was having that conversation with 2 weeks ago. I should message again. They're gonna think I don't like them. That's the other thing. Anyone who's gonna be mad at you or upset because you didn't respond on a Twitter message or an Instagram DM, it's like, those aren't really your friends anyway. Last thing I'm gonna tell you today is a few years ago I worked as a bartender. I was living in France at the time. I was living in Paris. I was working at this Irish pub called O'Sullivan's. And shout out to O'Sullivan's. Yeah, it was a pretty interesting job. It was a pretty chill work environment. We would always pour Jaeger bombs and just get hyped up with lots of like Red Bull and Jägermeister shots. And that's how you made it through a Friday night or a Saturday night. You constantly worked buzzed. And you woke up the next day with a mild hangover. And that's just life as a bartender in certain establishments. I think one of our coworkers didn't drink, so he didn't participate, but that never seemed like an option. It just seemed like, oh, all the cool people, like we're all drinking together, we're all having fun, let's do it. I think I would have enjoyed that period of my life a lot more if I hadn't been drinking, because I would have woken up without a hangover. I would have actually seen more of the city and like enjoyed myself more. I think social media is that way for most of us. We just see everyone doing it and think like, oh yeah, I don't actually like it, but it's the time we live in, it's the 21st century, It's how you grow a business, it's how you stay informed, it's where you get your news from. But it doesn't have to be. It really doesn't have to be. Hear it from someone who's like making a career online. Well, these days I'm not, because the whole pandemic has kind of stopped travel and who knows what's going on. But the point is, like, this has been my main source of income for a couple of years, and I believed the lie that you needed to be on social media all the time. And if there's one good thing that's come out of 2020 for me, it's that I woke up. I realized that you don't need to be. And actually, I'm excited. I'm excited about like all the hours that I've regained for the rest of my life. Because if you think social media is going away, you're crazy. It's just going to get more and more immersive. It started with text, then it became photos, then it became videos. Now it's like short videos of every moment of our life. What's next? I don't know. But I don't think I'm going to participate. I think I've gone deep enough down that rabbit hole. And it's up to you to choose if you think the same. Because these companies are going to keep doing what they're doing. They're going to keep trying to make their money, selling our data, selling our future away with their algorithms. But there is another path. I realized that again when I started seeing that video from Matt Diavella and just started seeing various people discussing the downsides of social media. And I wanted to make my own video to share my 2 cents. More than 2 cents. This has been a long video. But yeah, that's what I think about it. Would be happy to hear your thoughts as well. And that sun is hot, guys. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Just kidding. I mean, you can, but don't expect a quick response. And yeah, that's about it, guys. Don't forget, your life is yours to live, no one else's. Doesn't belong to strangers. Doesn't belong to tech companies. And yeah, see you next time.